Carbohydrates are classified on the basis of the number of their forming units. We have discussed in our previous section that they are classified into three categories: the monosaccharides, the oligosaccharides, and the polysaccharide. In this section, we are going to study about the classification of these the three classes. We will discuss that what are the example of these classes and how they are classified, what are basically the structure of all of these agents, what are the linkages between them. We will discuss about the monosaccharide, we will discuss about the disaccharides and the oligosaccharides, and also we will discuss about the polysaccharides. So starting with the monosaccharides. Monosaccharides are basically those sugars that cannot be hydrolyzed, or when they cannot be hydrolyzed into the simpler sugars. They are basically the simplest form of the carbohydrate or simplest sugars that are known. The general formulas of the monosaccharide is CnH2nOn. N is for example, if N is 1, the carbon atom is, if there is a one carbon atom in the structure of these carbohydrate, then there will be two hydrogen atom and one oxygen atom in the structure of these carbohydrate. And if there is two carbon atom present in the structure of the monosaccharide, there will be 4 hydrogen atoms and 2 oxygen atoms as according to this formula. A very common example of the monosaccharide is the glucose. Here you can see the structure of the glucose. These are the hydroxyl groups that are attached to the carbon atoms. This is basically the carbon backbone, and this at the end of this glucose, this is the aldehyde group. Now, because of presence of this aldehyde group, this glucose or this monosaccharide is known as aldo sugar. If here instead of this aldo group a keto group is present, then it will be known as a keto sugar. Now, these monosaccharides can be classified further, and further, these can be classified either on the basis of presence of aldehyde or ketone group in either into aldo group or aldo sugar or keto sugar, or they can be classified on the basis of the number of the carbon atoms that are present in their structure. For example, if the number of the carbon atom in the structure of the monosaccharide is 3, now 3 is the minimum number of carbon atom that can be present, or 3 is the simplest known monosaccharide, then the sugar will be named as trioses. And if an aldehyde group is present in this 3 carbon sugar, it will be known as glyceraldehyde. And if a ketone group is present, then it will be known as dihydroxyacetone. If the number of carbon atom is 4, then the type of sugar is tetroses, and aldehyde, in case of presence of aldehyde group, it will be known as erythrose, and in case of presence of ketose group, it will be known as the erythrulose. If the 5 carbon atoms are present, then the type of sugar is a pentose, and then again a pentose can be a ribose, a xylose, or a ribulose or xylulose on the basis of presence of an aldehyde group or ketone group in its structure. Another example is the 6-carbon monosaccharide, that is a hexose. It can be a glucose, a galactose, or a fructose. Then a 7-carbon monosaccharide known as heptoses, and these heptoses can be glucoheptose or pseudoheptulose, depending upon that either it consists of aldehyde in its structure, or it consists of an ketone in its structure, ketone group in its structure. Like here you can see this is a glucose, and it consists of an aldehyde in its structure, that's why it is an aldose. And this fructose, it also consists of a keto group in its structure. Here you can see, and galactose also consists of a aldehyde group in its structure. Now, these carbohydrate structures, they can either be drawn in as a straight structure, that is known as a Fisher projection or Fisher formula, or they can be drawn as the Hayward projection, that we will discuss in a further section, that how you can write the formula of a carbohydrate and how you can convert a straight molecular formula into this cyclic formula, and what is its importance. Then discussing some example of these monosaccharides and what is their importance. We discussed about the trioses, that these trioses consist of 3 carbon in its structure. They can be the glyceraldehyde or dihydroxyacetone. These dihydroxyacetone, basically they are important because they are the intermediate of the glycolysis. Glycolysis is basically a cycle that occurs inside our body, where there is a breakdown of the glucose and the production of energy is involved. Then these trioses are also the precursors of the glycerol that is involved in the lipid synthesis. Coming to the tetroses include the D-erythrose or erythrulose in case of the ketone. Basically, they are involved in the carbohydrate metabolism. They are the intermediates of the carbohydrate metabolism. Then the pentoses, D-ribose, it is a structure element of the nucleic acid. As we know that ribose sugar, deoxyribonucleic acid, and the ribonucleic acid, the DNA and RNA, very important components of our nuclear material. Then hexoses. In hexoses, there is a glucose that is the main sugar of a body, that the main energy source of the body. Then D-fructose, that is converted to the glucose and utilized by the body. It means also it is an energy source. D-galactose, it is synthesized in the mammary gland to make the lactose of the milk. And mannose, D-mannose, it is a constituent of the glycoproteins and the glycolipids. It means that it is important structurally. Now, what is this? Why this D is added in the start of the name of these monosaccharides? That we will discuss in our further sections. Coming to the oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides are basically it is derived from a Greek word. Oligo means a few and saccharides means sweet. So basically, oligosaccharides are formed by few sugars or combinations of the few sugars. Like when 2 to 10 monosaccharides, they form bonds with each other, or they are present together in a structure, the resulting carbohydrate is known as the oligosaccharides. Here, and they are joined by the glycosidic bond. Here you can see this is a structure of these are 2 monosaccharides that combine with each other to form a disaccharides. Now, if there is combination of 2 monosaccharides, the resulting oligosaccharide will be known as a disaccharide. In case of 3, it will be a trisaccharide, tetrasaccharide, as so on. Now, how both of these monosaccharides will combine? Basically, the hydroxyl, this carbon atom and the hydroxyl group that are present on them, they will interact with each other. There will be the removal of a water molecule, and because of the removal of a water molecule, a bond will be formed between the 2 carbon atoms of these monosaccharides. The oxygen will be the central atom, and this linkage is known as the glycosidic linkage, where there is a oxygen bonded between the 2 carbon atoms, the carbon atoms that are part of the 2 monosaccharides. This is another example, the sucrose, that is formed by the combination of a alpha glucose and the beta fructose. Now, what is this alpha and what is this beta? If in the structure of a monosaccharide, like here, if you can see, if in the structure of a monosaccharide, this hydroxyl group is present opposite to this aldehyde or keto group, then the monosaccharide is known as alpha, or its conformation is known as alpha. And if this hydroxyl is present here, instead of here, it is present upside, that it means that parallel to this aldehyde group, the hydroxyl group and aldehyde groups are present in the same conformation, then the monosaccharide is known as beta. As you can see, in case of the beta, the hydroxyl group will be here, parallel to this aldehyde group. Coming to the different examples of the oligosaccharides, the disaccharide where the two monosaccharides are involved, the examples are the maltose. Maltose is basically combination of the two glucose molecule. And lactose is another example, that is a combination of glucose plus galactose. And sucrose is formed as we just have seen that glucose is formed by combination of an alpha glucose and beta fructose. Then coming to the trisaccharides, that consist of 3 monosaccharides in their structure. There is an example of the raffinose. Raffinose is a combination of glucose, fructose and galactose. Then tetrasaccharides, that consist of 4 monosaccharides in their structure. The example is the styrose, and they are basically the combination of 2 galactose, glucose and fructose. And then verbascose, that is a pentasaccharide. It is a combination of 3 galactose, glucose and the fructose. Now, what if more than 10 monosaccharides are linked to each other through glycosidic bond? Then they will result in the formation of the polysaccharide. Polysaccharides are basically the carbohydrates that consist of more than 10 monosaccharides in their structures. Here you can see that these are the long chain compounds and long chain structures. They have very complicated structures and they are large molecules. They can be the homopolysaccharides or the heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides means that they are formed by the same kind of the units or the monosaccharides that are bonded to each other. They are of same kind, where when different monomers are attached with each other, they are known as heteropolysaccharides. They can be branched or unbranched homopolysaccharide, branched homopolysaccharide, or the unbranched or 2 monomer type unbranched or multiple monotypes branched heteropolysaccharides. As I told you, they can be homopolysaccharides or the heteropolysaccharide. The example of the homopolysaccharide is the starch, glycogen, cellulose, insulin, dextran, and chitin. And heteropolysaccharide, agar and mucopolysaccharides, both of these are example of heteropolysaccharide. This is the structure of the starch. Starch can be in 2 forms, the amylose and the amylopectin. So basically, amylopectin is a branch form and amylose is a straight chain form. So this was all about the classification of the carbohydrate, where we discussed about the monosaccharide, disaccharides, and the polysaccharide. We discussed that monosaccharide cannot be hydrolyzed further into simple sugar. They are actually the simplest sugar. Then we discussed about its different example, and we discussed about the disaccharide, that they are combination of 2 monosaccharide and oligosaccharides are formed when 2 to 10 monosaccharides combine with each other. And then we discussed that if more than 10 monosaccharides combine with each other through glycosidic linkage, that is a bond between 2 carbon and a central oxygen atom, then polysaccharides will be formed that are actually a large molecular structure, for example, starch and glycogen. So this was all about this section. Thanks for watching Scardia.com.